Hello, lovelies. Welcome back to another episode of In My Bedroom. Today, guys, we have the lovely singer-songwriter, gospel artist, starstruck, finalist, Esther-Olivia. Welcome, Esther. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, honestly.
It's been a while.
It's been too long.
Too long. But Esther, I'm so excited that we have you here today because this episode is for International Women's Day, and you and everything you've accomplished with your career so far in this industry, I find personally extremely inspiring.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly, it is, because you don't very often see people that you know work really hard and grow right before your very eyes, but you are a fierce example of that. So I'm really happy to have you today. And in line with that, in line with how you've grown, can you just tell us a little bit about music and how that started for you?
You're gonna be here a while, but
I'm always down for a good story, so
I will try and make it short and brief. So I'd say music's been in my blood for a long time. So my mother's side of the family, very musical. My dad's side of the family, more so to do with the TV side and stuff like that. So my grandfather on my dad's side helped, I think, start up the first ever Nigerian channel. Yeah, I just like found that out last year as well. I was like, oh, it's channels. I mean, we sitting on bags of money, like. But like, yeah, there's that, and then in my mom's side of the family, have a lot of singers, a lot of actors, athletes. So I'd say, when someone says it's in the DNA, it was in the DNA. Yeah. My mom said one thing that I did sing before I started speaking at the age of 9 months.
Wow.
So I'll just like hum things and sing things in like da 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 da. And it would sound,
decent.
She says that. She says that, but I'm harsh on myself. I probably would have been a Simon Cowell and just be like, yeah, that sounds rubbish. But like, it's good that a mother hears her children,
Yeah.
So I'd say it started to manifest at the age of 5. Started singing a lot in church, and there was up until I was 12, I started singing in church a lot, taking quite a few leadership roles in that. And I think it was when I was 12, I then was the youngest in the church ever to join the adult choir. So from there, I started seeing like things were changing and things were happening. But I've always wanted to be an artist. But because of the family I come from, it's like, that isn't a real career. I was actually told in church, and they actually used me as an example on a career day that, it's like if Esther wants to be a singer, she has to have something on the side. Like, it's not a real job. So that really, the fact that today I remember that, it says a lot, yeah. It says a lot.
I'm so mad because that's so rude.
So why would you pinpoint someone to say that as an example as well?
Honestly.
That is so rude.
Honestly. And I was like, I remember just literally life falling apart in front of my eyes at the tender age of 12. Before life has even begun.
I mean, I've had experiences with that where people have said things like, are you sure, like, you don't have a plan B? People have said stuff like that to me before, but nobody's ever directly said
in front of
anything
people
like that.
That's rude.
That's so rude.
Honestly. And it was from there that I was now seeking validation. So as a young child, I would always seek validation within my heart. I would never speak out because I would always think that, okay, am I saying the wrong things?
Yeah.
But then finally I started to see people like Beyonce, people like Whitney Houston, people like Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin was such a great example because she came from the church, still held the church, and was still in the secular. and Whitney Houston as well. So I was like, okay, I could do this as a career. So I think I was around that GCSE age and I started studying music then. And opportunities started flying open. I was in quite a few musical theatres because they would hear my voice and say, this is a musical theatre voice. And I'm like, but I want to be a pop star, you know?
See, they always do that. It's like when you have the big voice, they just think musical theatre.
That is capping me down to something.
I mean, it makes so much sense because knowing your voice,
Yeah.
I can hear it, I can see it, but it's also like, but it's like, how can you say that when you have the pop artists like Beyonce that exist?
Literally, and she had musical theatre training. Almost all of them did. I'm not saying that I don't like musical theatre, but I don't like being boxed. I like to be placed in a place where I can do a lot of things and then still come back to that one thing that I started with. So I got really irritated, but I still done what I wanted to do because one thing about me is I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. So I started getting invited to a lot of places, like the Royal Festival Hall had their annual youth music. So I was, I had the honour to be invited around 16 to sing there at the Royal Festival Hall as an individual. They were doing groups and groups and they were like, oh, we'd like to place you as an individual. And that's when I started seeing money bags in my eyes. I was like, ooh, okay, this gonna take me somewhere one day. I'm gonna be a star, So that's when I started seeing it as like a actual career. So done music and everything, done musicals inside school, outside of school, and now it's college. And it's between Elam and Brits. And I remember my uncle saying that if you go to Elam, you're going to be the greatest amongst people that aren't great. But go to Brits where you're like a small fish in a big pond. And that was sound advice, but I'm like, something was telling me that no, great people are also in Elam. I mean, we see the evidence today.
Yeah.
We see the evidence today. Something was like, I tried Brits for a few days. I was like, like people doing backflips off the wall. This ain't me. I'm a sing, but I ain't gonna sing. But doing a front flip, something like that. Like,
who said that was doing like?
It's like I ain't DeMarcus. That's so I tried Elam, fell in love with it straight away. It like everyone is themselves. We have different genres, but yet everyone bigs up everyone. I remember we had our first show and it was respect. No one had heard my voice, yet the teachers were like, I feel like respect. I just think because I was the only black girl.
Maybe.
In that group. I see you guys. But they were like, do respect. So I done it for dress rehearsal and they were like, whoa. But the thing about me is I've never seen my voice as whoa. Not because I've ever been familiar with it, but I don't know. Maybe because I'm just not easily impressed or
I think when it's yours, it's not that you don't know that it's good, it's not that you don't see the beauty, it's just, it's yours. So you're almost kind of like used to it to the point where it's like, I don't really know how to be amazed by it. Unless you do something with your voice where it's like, what? It's like, okay, let's try that again because I wasn't trying to do that, but I did that and I love how it sounds. But for the most part, it's yours and it's part of who you are. It's almost like saying, oh my God, I can breathe. Like you've been breathing your whole life. Like it's like I feel like for singers, when it's something that you're truly passionate about, it's like singing is basically breathing to me. As much as I breathe, I sing. So I don't really know how to be amazed. Like it is an amazing thing that I can do because without breath, you won't be here. But it's like it's just who I am. Like I don't really know how to be like about this.
That's so good, honestly. But I'd say one thing is Elam was my best years, even though my uncle said that, and that's also encouraging because people like to box you with their opinions, and it's like you just need to follow your heart, follow what you think is
Best
best
for
for
you.
you, because it's your life.
Yeah.
You know, when it's just you and God or whoever, is literally, you're gonna face the decisions you made for yourself, not anyone else. So after all of that, with the first song that I done, Respect by Aretha Franklin, I then started getting a bit of recognition in the school. I always say one thing is, when I go to a new place, when I go to another school, I just want to be low key. Exactly what my friends would do. They would be like,
it's not happening, honey.
It's not gonna work. Because I've always wanted to be that girl that is like, oh hi, just, you know, friends with everyone, but isn't known like that. Like, I've never wanted to, not that I want to hide, but it's peaceful, like, you know, not a lot of people
drama and everybody like,
exactly. So when I started seeing that, I was just like, oh, hey, yeah, it's me, but it's not me at the same time. I have a twin, like, you know. From there, things were great and stuff, but then that's when the opposition started, where a lot of people didn't like me because of that. You know, they wanted what I had. They didn't like me because of that. And it affected me in a way, but then after a while, I'm a person that I brush off things, so it didn't really affect me. And then getting into the later stages of Elam, we were then had the opportunity of going to Abbey. Well, they all went to Universal. They singled me out and put me in Abbey Road. I didn't know what
They're not
Abbey
helping
Road.
you. They're not doing you any favors. Like,
I was like, what is Abbey Road? So when people were like, the Beatles, I was like, oh, okay, it's only Beatles, you know, who else? And they were saying, Amy Winehouse. I was like, okay, it's nice. So I went to Abbey Road, and it was actually the day that Robbie Williams was doing something for Specsavers. So I was able to be like his runner and everything. So that was a little nice experience. And I would go to Universal after, and be like, hi, friends.
yeah, real friend. Hi.
And it's like, it's the teachers that put us in placement. So he was like, I think you'll be great, Abbey Road. Who told you that? Like, put me in Universal, get me that contract, honey. Like, you know. But after that, it's like all of my friends, because we were in a friendship group. Not Isaac, Paul included, and I just remember everyone was headlining a show. So we used to have shows a lot, almost every 2 months or every month, I can't remember. And everyone had headlined except for me. So I remember them turning around and saying, when are you going to headline? I said, instead of you to just keep that in your chest, you know, that's what I'm saying.
Why are you saying?
Why are you saying that? And I was literally like, okay. Yeah, when have I headlined? First year I didn't headline. I was only known for Respect, which was literally beginning of the year. And we were deep into the year and nothing else had happened. So it was like, I enjoyed it, but at the same time, when you have that high and you come down, it's weird. It's really weird. It can easily be depressing. It can easily make you go into this shell that you just get comfortable in. So second year came, and it was interesting. It was an interesting year, and I remember getting a call from, whoa, I'm skipping timelines. Let me go back to first year. Yes, because second year was COVID. Sorry, it was first year. So coming to the end of first year, that's when that comment was said. And I remember speaking to God in my heart. I said, yeah, it's true. Why haven't I? You know? And then someone in the year above approached me and said, oh, we have an end of year show. Would you like to sing in it? I was like, yeah, sure. I thought it was just going to be BV. They were like, oh no, you're lead singer. I was like, you guys have so many singers. You know, even Molly Rainford, who's an EastEnders now, and so many other people that are doing big things. And I was like, why are you asking me? And there were, you know, another girl wanted to share it with me, and I was okay with it. They were like, no, it's you. So once we done dress runs, they were now like, oh, headline acts. And I was like, whoa. So I was now asking, is this normal? They said, no, you're the first to ever headline a year 13, first year 12 to ever headline a year 13 show at that fact, the first ever in the history of the school. So I was now like, whoa, God, you done you done more than what I are. I just thought it was gonna be my year group that, you know, I am. But he done exceedingly abundantly above that. And then we had our own show, end of year show, where they asked me to do a Beyonce. Stop asking me to do Beyonce, a Beyonce song, and they said headline. So it's like I headlined twice in a month, and they were literally like the same people that were like, "When are you gonna headline?" Were now looking at me like, "How did you do that?" And it's like all I did was take the pain I was feeling from you, and I took it to God. And why I say that is because He's been the biggest strength in my career. You know, I know it could be controversial, but that's just where I get my source of strength from. That's where I get most of the opportunities that I have. So yeah, got to uni, and that was a crash. Train wreck for me.
See, I think everyone gets to that point. Everybody has something like that, because life would be life if it doesn't throw you curveballs or run you over with trains every now and then. So, but
I am grateful for it.
I mean, yeah,
very grateful.
Because those difficult times, they're the points where you really, really do grow, and they show you not only who you are, but what you can do and how you can do it better.
Definitely. I remember coming out of uni and I was like, Mum, there's no point. There was no point. I wasted 3 years. 3 years, because it's like everything I'd learned in college was now being revised in uni, and I was so frustrated. I was like, because at the age of 18, I was then finally, you know, offered a contract with Universal, and all of it crumbled because of COVID. Everyone was now out of office and everything, and it just faded through the lines. And I wasn't one of those people on TikTok that I would blow up, so they were now looking at TikTok instead of like the actual raw talent. So I was just so mad. I was like, oh my gosh, how can I let this slip through my fingers? Actually singing at the headquarters, getting the contract, getting this, getting that, so many things. And I was like, yeah, because I had goals. That at this age I was going to do this, do that. In my mind, I was on track.
Honey, the whole world would have burned if that happened to me. Because I don't know how you're sitting here so calmly. I would have lost it completely.
Honestly, it happened where it was one of our shows, and I'd headlined just a slot, and they were like, there's someone from Rudimental. I don't know his name. I think it's Amir. I think it's Amir. From Rudimental, I think that's his name. I don't know. And a Universal A&R that came, but they were trying to, shorten everyone's sets so that they could see me, but everyone was prolonging it, and they weren't able to see me because of that. So, an assembly was, or whatever they called it, was called, and they were like, you guys robbed her of this opportunity. People were like, I'm so sorry. I was like, yes, fine. Inside, I was like, oh, you guys are gonna get it, But I don't know. I was actually fine. I was actually fine. I was just like, yeah, it's fine. So it came again, the contract, and then COVID hit. And I'm like, okay, now I'm getting a bit mad.
Once is one thing, twice
is another. Because I'm quite a patient person. I'm like, whatever's meant to be, it's meant to be. But sometimes you actually have to take things by force and be like, yo, this is actually not meant to happen. So yeah, fast forward to uni. and things are happening. Jeez, things are happening. And then a scout is in my DMs, and I was getting scouted a lot during this process that I'm talking about, from secondary school up to college with Britain's Got Talent, The Voice, X Factor. The Voice came to me 3 times, auditioned 3 times, nothing! X Factor twice, nothing. It would always get to a point where they're like, yeah, the live shows, and then nothing. So imagine all of that, plus a universal contract twice, and everything is slipping through your fingers. Then you end up in uni. You can imagine how dark my world was. It was dark.
Because it's one thing to be chasing that and to not hear anything. It's another thing in time for somebody to be dangling it in your face.
Honestly.
And it's like, hi, hello, I'm here, and you're just like grasping it.
It's like
you.
Oh my gosh. That's the best way to describe it. Best way to describe it is like, and then they had this little mix show. They called me for that. They were like, oh yeah. I remember we had these stickers, and S would be like fast track, basically, those who were scouted. I had an S, and I was in this group of girls, and they were like, oh, you got an S, like you've been scouted, oh, that's so good, you're gonna go. And I was like, yeah, finally. And I even saw people from my secondary school who knew me, and they were literally like, oh my gosh, you're finally here. I was like, yeah. So when it kind of slipped through again, I'm just like, oh, I'm tired. I'm so fed up. Like,
I've had enough. No more.
Literally no more. Like, just leave me alone at this point. So when Starstruck came about, I was about to air it. I was airing it, and it's funny because I remember a week prior, I was literally like to God, this thing, I'm leaving it for sure, for good. Because I had given up so many times. But this time I was like, I'm for sure giving up on music. And then a week later, I get that DM. It's exactly a week later, the same time, because I voice noted it and I tracked the times. And just like, oh yeah, it would be so good. I aired it for like a week. And something was now like, do research on the show, because I've never heard of the show. So I now saw something like The Stars in Their Eyes, where they, impersonate like an artist and they sing. And I was not like, okay, but it's not really getting, But I was like, for the fun of it, if this doesn't go right, then I'm done. Done. You'll never hear me sing again. So I was now like, testing my friends. So I would watch the thing around them. Isaac was one of them. I was now like, should I go on the show? Isaac is very open-minded. He was like, yeah, go for it. I was looking at this guy like, okay, you're not the best person
to ask.
You just love everything. Like, forget you at this point.
I'm going to ask a critical person.
Literally. So I asked Paul, and he was literally like, And I was just like, okay, Paul is, he sees something, but at the same time he's like, oh no, just so you don't quote me. Yeah. No. So I asked another friend, and he was literally like, nah, don't go for it. That fueled me to go for it. Like I said, one thing is I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
If you're telling me no, is a yes to me.
Yeah.
Is a yes to me. Within good reason. I'm not I'm not a rebel. I'm not a rebel. But it was literally like that for me. So I was watching the show, and I remember everything happened fast. Application was faster than, The Voice, the X Factor, everything. And I just remember taking God every step of the way. I said, okay, God, if this is you, then I'm gonna go into the next stage. And I kept saying that every stage. So the first time they were like, I actually done my audition in our old lecture room. I forgot what it was called.
Which lecture room? The one? Was it the church or the rehearsal room?
Rehearsal room, where we done our final live performances.
The Gal?
Yes.
Gal.
That's
Organising workshop.
I was like, I can't forget, wasn't that long ago?
I used to call it galvanishing. Used to read whatever I was doing. So I done my audition there. I didn't tell anyone, and I just went there with my phone. And she said, okay, it's going to be this time to this time. So I made sure I booked at least 3 hours. So sorry whoever needed that.
Space.
For I booked it out. I'm so sorry. And so before is like we had a list of artists that we could pick from. I picked Adele, but like, where in the Adele do you see this? So obviously I was not like, let me use my brain. So there was Aretha Franklin, there was J Hud, and
J Hud would have been good.
Yeah, J Hud would have been good, honestly. There was Whitney Houston, there was Chaka Khan, there was Beyonce, but I think they just narrowed it down to the amount of artists that were being picked. So they were now like, oh, could you pick like an Aretha Franklin song or Whitney Houston song, Chaka Khan and Beyonce? I said, you want me to do that in one day? Or, is it like, we're going to split this into days or something? They're like, oh no, all in one day. So I go to the galvanizing shop.
Workshop.
I'm sorry.
Galvanizing workshop. We remember, yes, we remember.
What should I'm wrong?
So I went there, set up the microphone, everything, and I sang Ain't Nobody, and I was like, yeah. And she's like, could you sing that Beyonce song? And I was like, oh, I don't think I have. I just played the next track. I didn't want to sing Beyonce because it's like all my life I'd had
Beyonce. He's like, you want to run? He's like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is not who I am. Let me free me. I understand it completely. Like, just let me be. Just let me live. Like, choose someone else.
Like, we have so many other artists. I just picked the next song by Whitney Houston. I can't remember. I think it was about I think it was I Want to Dance with Somebody. No, I'm Your Baby Tonight. I love that song. So beautiful. And she's like, okay, so the Beyonce song. I said, okay, woman, what is it? What is the Beyonce? You know what? Let me give you what you want. So I think it was a random song that it was a medley, yes, it was a medley, the Sweet Dreams medley. And I sang that, and she was like, I said, oh, I know what you're thinking.
They already knew what they wanted. They should have just told you that from the get-go, but like, this is it and nothing else. Like,
honestly, so, I remember after that, I literally texted my friend Isaac and Paul, and I was just like, oh, let's go Blue Water. They didn't know what I just done.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, sure. So then they were now like looking at me like they had known something had gone on. So I was just acting like nothing had happened. And I remember a week later or so, they were now like, oh, we would like you to come in for an in-person, da-da-da. And I'm now like, oh, I have to go back to London, stay there, and da-da-da. But I was like, you know what's fine. And I think we had half term then, anyways. So the half term happened, and it was the day of my audition. And I remember waking up, throat closed, no voice, eyes swollen, mad as cold, as if like I couldn't move. So I'm now like, oh my gosh. And then I remember I woke up quite early, so I still had time to like pray and like just speak to my mom and everything. She didn't know what I was doing either. I was doing this by myself because I didn't want opinions. I didn't want people in my ear to like disturb what I was doing. So I just done it myself. And I get to the place, the audition place, and now it's time for me to sing. And they're like, okay, you're gonna sing. So they send the material and it was Beyonce, Listen. And I was now like, okay, with no voice, you want me to sing Beyonce, Listen. You want me to listen? You want to listen to this voice? Like, yeah. So I remember singing and I closed my eyes because anytime I know that I just might flop it, I closed my eyes.
I don't want to see this happen.
Yeah. So guys, I'm not seeing something, I'm nervous. Okay? I'm nervous. So I closed my eyes and I just sang. And their system was a thing of you sing once, they give you, the vocal directors give you notes and you sing again. And then I think producers give you notes and you sing again. So 3 times you sing.
It's a painful song to sing more than once to begin with.
I'm telling you, like, it's not a
really
song.
tried. That was meant to be because,
Oh my god. So I remember going in that room and I tell you the room was full of people from this side to that side, full of people, CEOs, producers from different shows. And I'm literally like, oh hey guys, like, you know what's up? And I actually remember now, he actually vocal coaches a lot of people, and I know he works with Flo now. He was just sitting there and he was smiling as soon as I said, oh, we black, like.
He did.
Literally that. So I just remember like opening my eyes and people were crying and I'm literally like,
Cry, why? Please, somebody explain.
Sorry, was it that bad? Do I need to leave? Do I need to go home? You know? And they were like, that's the most beautiful audition we've ever seen. Talking to me, I was looking like, with my croaky voice, everything, and these are people that have done the X Factor, everything. So people that have called me before, they're now like, oh, you're, you know, the one we've been.
I'm all for like God's timing and everything. In the moment, when it doesn't happen, it sucks so much. It's like, God, why? And then when it happens at the right time, because I'm sitting now thinking, I'm like, there's no way you could have done that on your own.
Oh,
there's no way you could have done that on your own because like,
yeah.
That's a situation you walk out and be like, that was God. That wasn't me. That was God.
That's when I was like, okay, yeah, God has definitely given me this voice and I need to keep it well. I'm not giving up nothing, you know? This needs to be used for his purpose only. And I just remember like, you know, they were like, you can go. And I was literally like, oh, you're not going to give me any notes? Like, no, you can go. I was like, what did you guys hear? Because, you know, I want to hear that. I want to hear that too. Like, so I remember just going home and I was with this girl. I'll never forget this girl because she was so obstinate. Okay, can't say the word. She was in high spirits. And she was just like, yeah, I can't wait that together we'll do our makeup together. It was sad that she didn't get to the next round, but the fact that she done that was like, she was sort of like my guardian angel, because back then it was like in the middle of uni and doing this by yourself, it was sort of hard, you know. I couldn't even tell the lecturers, so I was missing lectures and I used to say, oh, I have this thing.
Oh my gosh, and that's why you went to class!
At the point where you just weren't showing up and then you do a caravan or something.
Always just like, where's Esther? Where's Esther? Where's Esther? No,
I was doing Hannah Montana, you know.
Oh my god! Literally! Oh no, that makes sense. That makes so much more sense.
Because I was thinking, let me not pry, I'm not
Exactly. Let me not ask too many questions because like, Paul was Isaac. I said, Paul was Esther. Isaac, where's Esther? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, no, nobody knew. I was just doing Hannah Montana. Like, she was cool, by the way, doing school, family life, and
For
still
real.
She was the goat. So yeah. So each step of the way, I was now like, okay. So I remember there was this. A week later, I got another email. They were now like, oh, we would like you to be on team Beyonce. And I'm like, you guys just knew this from the get-go. Don't even try and surprise me now. Like, you know, I know you knew. Like, you know. 'So I remember we had a taster day and everything. It was in London. And one thing about me, I can get a bit bougie. So they were not like, oh, we'll give hotels to those who need it. I lived 30 minutes away from the place.
I'd like a hotel, please.
Yeah. Which was 5-minute walk, so win's a win. So I was like, I would like a hotel and everything. They were like, we don't usually do this, but okay. So I went to the place, and next morning got to the venue, and I saw people that I even knew from like secondary school, and I was like, what? No, that's you. Like again, like I was just seeing a lot of people that I knew, and I saw the 4 girls that auditioned, but I didn't see that girl that had positive spirits. I just pray wherever she is, like she's living her best life, because she's an angel. And yeah, we sang in heels, everything, and I was taking snaps there, but nobody knew where I was. That's one thing about me, you never know where I am. I can play it down so well. It's like I could be married tomorrow and you guys won't know. I could be at my wedding and just take pictures of hills or something like that, or the flowers,
Beautiful day.
It's a sky picture.
Keep going to the next. Like, nah, but y'all know. But yeah, so I just remember we went through that process, went through wardrobe. It was such a fun day. And I remember going to wardrobe and I was like, I don't want nothing showing. No cleavage, no this, no that, or I'm out. And I was even like, I can speak like this because I already knew Beyonce and, they can already try to sexualize black girls. And that's one thing I was seeing in Elam a lot. So I already went in with my standards. So, whoever's coming up as a female artist, know what you want before you go, because they already see your gift and it's the gift they want, so already go in with your standards, make sure your vision is plain. You need to know your vision, or they'll make the vision for you. You won't like it. You will not like it. It will never satisfy you. So I just remember, going home, and they were lovely people, lovely people. And I remember a few days later, I had a dream, and I was like, I saw only 2 of the girls plus myself went through. So it went from, I think, about 7 girls to 4 girls down to 3 girls that are the final for the show. So I remember dreaming of these 2 specific girls, and everyone was with their dads. I was with my dad. We were going to collect the good news, and I woke up and I was like, oh, and I was still like, okay, God, if I'm not in the next thing, I just know it's not you. But he already knew that I'd made a vow within myself that if this doesn't work out,
I'm done.
See you later. Yeah. So I remember I got the email, Team Beyonce, you're through and everything, and I was like, oh yay! And was it then I told my mum? Yeah. Then was when I told my mum. I remember telling my mum, and I was like, I'm through. And I made the call in front of Isaac, and he was looking at me like, what are you talking about? Or something like that. And then I told him, and he's like, what? He's like, you've been
left from where?
So then I think we sent a voice note into the group chat for Paul, and Paul was like, huh? Like, he was like, what? Like, this is what you've been doing. And I just like it that way. And that's what I've been doing ever since. Even in church now that I'm back singing at church and everything, is like, I play my cards close to my chest because of the opinions, number 1. Number 2, because I've seen a track record of just envy, hatred, and I don't want to open my heart up to that. Because I'm quite sensitive, but I'm full of love. I can love someone who hates me. And sometimes you need to, all times you need to guard your heart.
Yeah.
So, just by doing that and shutting your mouth and doing it and let it play out is the best. I remember, I think it was January, I sang for the first time in church in 3 years. And remember my apostle came to me and said, "You've been hiding that voice."
Right behind that voice. What you people told me? What you told me?
Oh no, this is a different.
Oh, okay,
church,
good.
Okay.
Because I'm
This
like,
apostle's cool. Yeah, he's cool. This is a different church. So everything that I'm talking about, I've gone through different churches. So I've gone through so much trauma. Don't get me wrong. Church doesn't equal trauma.
No.
It just happens to happen the
Mm,
same way it
yeah.
happens in your workplace,
Yeah.
in school. It doesn't mean that's where the maddest thing is. No. But yeah, in the midst of that, there was also, pastors trying to control the gift. There was just so many people trying to pull strings and be like, want to be the one that said, "Oh, I made you," or "I got you there," and stuff. So I feel like there's also a reason as to why God didn't allow that to happen, because it wasn't the right environment. But now I believe it's a great environment, because my apostle was literally like, where's that been hiding? And it's like I needed to go through preparation, heal from a lot of trauma, heal from a lot of trauma, heal from, making it all about me, because whether you're in church, wherever you are, your gift isn't about yourself. It's to help other people. So I needed to really understand that, and that's what now allows me to go to places and freely give my gift, but not in a way where it costs me.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking financially.
Yeah. Because literally, like, sometimes I tell people, or I sit down, I have conversations with people, especially when things are really hard, and I'm like, doing this thing, sometimes I question, like, what is it going to cost me? Because, I'll pay some money to do it, but, like, am I still going to be, like, intact? Am I still going to be sane at the end of this process? Because even if I do everything and, like, I make it to the point that I want to, like, make it to, will I be able to do what I'm supposed to do then if, like, I lose myself in the process to get there?
Exactly. And I remember one of my big sisters recently, she said to me that you need to have accountability around you when you're going to these places, because people don't care about your soul. They care about your gift, and that's it. Some people want to exploit you. Some people want to just, show that, oh, we have Chantelle, we have Esther-Olivia, just to put their name there, but they don't care about you. And in this day and age, that's very important, having people who care about you, inviting you to places. It's like opportunities are there, but some opportunities are sparkly on the surface, but
rotten at the core.
I'm telling you. Yeah, so I remember it was now a taster day, so we're now in Hempstead, I think that's where it's called, Hempstead, near Watford, and that's where the studios are, that's where we're filming. And the two girls that I dreamt of were there. I screamed when I saw them, and they were like, "Why are you screaming?" Like,
I knew it would be you.
They knew I was dramatic by then because I was showing my personality, but they were like, "This is weird." And I just told them, they're like, "Really?" They're like, "Could you have a dream about me about this?" Girl, I don't control my dreams. Like, what are you talking about right now? Like, I could pray or something, but I don't know. Like, so it was just a beautiful preparation, the dancing and everything. I also went in there and I was like, no sexual dances. I want none of that. But the cute drop, stand, turn she does at the end of Crazy in Love. I was like, yeah, keep that in, I like that, a bit of that. And it was just a fun experience. Yeah. I remember the first time we done the actual live show. One thing about me is, before shows, not ministrations, so there's a difference, yeah. There's a difference between the secular shows and the ministrations, but I'm doing ministrations now. I used to do this thing where I'll take a shot of coffee, sleep, 10 minutes before I'm supposed to be on stage. So they'll literally, like, anyone that's with me, like an assistant, will literally be like, "Is this girl okay?" Like, I'll literally be like, "Oh, wake me up at like 2 minutes before I need to be on," and that literally helps me. I'll pray, take a short sleep, and that's it. I don't want to hear again. I don't want to hear nothing. So I done exactly that, got on the stage, and it was all a blur. It's as if like someone was controlling. Why I say that, I don't have an alter ego, okay? You know you have to be so careful with this. I don't have an alter ego, but you know when you're just so into the performance, it's as if like you're just somewhere else.
You're in the zone.
Yeah. And I remember I was supposed to be from a lift underground propped up. So I was supposed to like pop up like that. And I practiced, like my knees hurt from that. All for Ollie Murs to break the lift. So they come to me like, oh, the lift broke, Ollie Murs broke it. I said, so everybody got that. But you know what? I probably would have tripped to know my clumsy self. So
I'm not complaining.
And then it's like, imagine had the lift propping me up and then running down the stairs, doing choreo at the same time. So it's literally like, yeah.
That's a lot, but I think that's a really good experience. I mean, do you think that secular music is something that you'd ever tap into again, or you're like, gospel music is where your head is at and where you think your career is just gonna, the path of your career is just gonna go down?
I believe I'm going to tap into the secular world. I'm currently doing that underground, but my mainstream is gospel because that's just where my soul prospers. And that's where I'm satisfied. The only reason why I was so depressed and all of that is because I was chasing for what I needed to do in different places, not knowing that I needed to infiltrate those places in a different sound. So it was like, I would always want to help people, but I wasn't helping myself, you know. So it's like, definitely I have a heart for those in the secular, and I understand them. I really, really understand them. So I'm not a gospel singer that's like shunning them and like, oh, you're the dirt of the, of the earth. No, I understand you, and you know, that's why I'm doing gospel. That's part of the reason why. It isn't just for the church. The church have enough singers.
It's for you, because it speaks to you, so
Yes. The church has enough singers, so I'm there to sing to the church, but also to bring something to the secular as well, because they're missing that love, that purity. You can see it in a lot of their eyes when they take pictures. No one's there. No one's there.
No one's inside.
No one's at home.
Nobody's home.
Yeah, so I remember coming off that stage and I cried. And I was like, girl, why are you crying? You better stand up. Stand up. And I just remember crying and crying and crying. So I didn't even get a chance to like breathe in. They were already like doing makeup and touching hair because we had to go back on the stage for the voting and then for the sing-off. So we were hearing this thing that they don't allow black people into the finals. And I was just like, lies, watch. That's one thing. Again, you're going to tell me one thing, I'm going to do another. You know? So I was like, yeah, that's a lie. So I don't know, if you guys watch back, it's a long clip. I was like looking down, or like I was smiling or something like that, because what I do, I smile through the pain. I smile through the pain. And when they said Team Beyonce, I was shocked. I was like, huh? Because we had Team Justin Bieber, we had like, you know, all of these great singers, and you know, they weren't black. So I was thinking that, okay, maybe this thing is true. So when they said Team Beyonce, I was really shocked. Really shocked. And then they were now like, time for the sing-off. And this is where I dreaded it, because we weren't all going to the finals together. It was just one of us. So I remember I was just like, you know what? One thing about me is I leave everything where I've sang. I never want to come off full. I want to give everything that I have there. So that's just what I was focused on. I was like, you know what? I'm not in competition with anyone else. I just need to do one up that I've been doing in rehearsals. So that's exactly what I've done. And before Ollie Murs actually said Esther-Olivia, I kept hearing my name. So I was thinking, is it the inners? So I was trying to take out the inners, but they pushed that into your skull, you know. Those inners. Like, they said, get it in there. I was how to. Only they can take it out of my ear, you know. Like, I said, child, okay. So I was hearing Esther-Olivia. So when he said Esther-Olivia, if you watch it back, I was looking down because I couldn't hear anything. They cut out what I could hear in my image, so I couldn't hear anything. So I was now like looking like, okay, who are they cheering for? Who's going to who? So if this girl goes to that girl, then I'm like, oh, like celebrate with her. But I saw they were both coming to me, so that's when I now look up and I'm like, what? Like, huh? Everything was just happening so fast. Literally from, you know, me saying, oh God, should I do it? And my friends saying, no, I don't think you should. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do it.
That you're on stage and then like, everybody's like cheering for you. Wow.
Literally. So I'm now like, oh my gosh. And they're like, you're our winner for tonight. And I'm literally like, what? What are you saying to me right now? Like, what are you saying? I was just like, what? I was like, then I was thinking of everything that I've been through musically, and I was now like, yeah, God doesn't want me to give up. I shouldn't give up. So finals come and it's listen. They want me to, and the MD was so strict. He was like, notes are flying about, you're flat here, you're not singing the right thing. And to be honest, I love things like that.
Yeah.
Because if you're telling me that, oh, you're good, but I'm not hearing it and you're not helping me correct it, I can't, you know? So I was literally like, okay, cool. And I was taking down notes. If you see that paper now, no, there's no lyrics, just notes. No lyrics, just notes. I crossed out the lyrics, I was writing notes on top of it. And I actually remember going home and I told my mum, this is what they're going to do for the stage design and this is what I'm going to wear. And she said, oh, have they sent to you? I said, no, but this is what they're going to do. Exactly what I envisioned. I said, purple lighting, white flowers and a white dress. And like the same curly wig. Exactly that. So my mom was even like, who are you?
Okay.
Who are you? You know, and I just remember going to the finals and to be honest, I was tired by then. I knew that, you know, I wasn't going to win. And to be honest, I'm grateful for that because if I had that 50k in my bag, I would not be here, you know, talking to Chantelle right now. I would be
somebody else, somewhere else.
I wouldn't have graduated. I wouldn't have done. You would have seen me. See you later. You would have just heard that I won.
Esther's gone.
You don't hear from me again, like unless you call me or DM me or something. So, you know, everything in good timing. But I remember Shania Twain coming to me and she said, "That voice, you're gonna have a big future." And for Shania Twain, shared stages with Beyonce, Aretha Franklin, all of these great voices, for her to come and say that to me, I was like, this is the biggest sign from God to shut up about giving up. You've given up 5 times. The giving up hasn't even worked.
Yeah.
So, you know, try and find a different avenue. So I remember going backstage and they let me keep the earrings. I was actually going to wear them today, but I couldn't find the second one. Don't know where that is. But yeah, it was a thing where they were like to me, you're so calm. Like everyone backstage was crying, throwing up. But my assistant was like, she just went to sleep. Like,
Shot, coffee, bedtime.
Like she just didn't do, like she wasn't shaking, she was so calm. She was like, oh, can you, you know, even like acting like she isn't going to sing in front of her nation soon. And I'm literally like,
Can't think about that stuff.
you can't. If you
stuff.
do,
You'll,
it's going to
you'll
ruin
fumble, you'll trip, everything. No, you can't do it.
Honestly. And they were like, do you meditate? And I was like, in a way, but not in the way that you're thinking. I was like, you know, prayer and the Bible is where I get it from. It's just like Jesus sleeping in the boat, like a storm was going on. He was sleeping in the back of the boat.
He was snoozing.
Deep slumber.
Sleeping and snoring.
And the disciples were in chaos. They were like, you gotta wake up, or like, what's going on? And that's, you know, he He's my biggest inspiration, if anything. I take a lot of life lessons from him, even though I've name dropped a lot of people here that I've once looked up to, and I still respect their work ethic. It's literally God, the Bible, Jesus Christ that I'm literally like, yeah. Because even today, I was so tired, and I was literally like, God, you have to give me strength, and just poured out, honestly, poured out, and I've actually seen more reward singing gospel again than I did. It's like I was running in circles in the secular. Sometimes it's like that for people, sometimes it's not. But even, I remember at the same time, back in Elam, I worked with Madison Square Garden Sphere in London, and they done a big interview and everything for me. And I remember at the same time, Stella from Flow also done a live session, and someone else, Mariam Davina, I think, she had done a live session as well. So it was 3 of us that they were now like scouting. And so Mariam went on The Voice, Stella, Flo, and then Esther-Olivia was just here. And I'm like,
I'm not saying it like that. Is it me?
am I the problem? You know? And you know, it was never that. God was just looking at me like, you're running the wrong way.
Yes, this is you for something else.
Yeah.
Like, there was something that Selena Gomez said about that her mom used to say to her whenever like she was little and she auditioned for things and she wouldn't get it. She's like, her mom always used to say to her that you shouldn't be upset that you didn't get that because it's not for you. It wasn't meant for you. It was meant for someone else.
Yeah.
So you should be happy that that person got that because it was meant for them. And ever since I heard that, whenever things just don't happen, I think of that, everything just kind of reshuffles.
Yeah.
And everything just kind of like, my perspective just changes. I'm like, you know what, it's okay.
Yeah.
That was for them and it wasn't for you, and you should be happy that they got what was for them, and what is for you is still coming.
Yeah, exactly that. And it took a long while, you know, because I was in a goose chase or whatever they call it. But I would say now that I'm back here, the opportunities that I've seen in front of my face is more than I thought I would get there. Things that are still to come to see. I remember going back to ITV last year. I was helping them out with something. Can't really say it. I was just about to say it, but it's good that
Just
my
stop
throat,
yourself,
you know. And I remember they were like, you know, throughout the year they were doing like a tally or within that region, and they had, you know, nominated me and, you know, awarded me with the best singer for that region of that year. I said ITV Studio, and that was when I went back to church and fulfilling my destiny. And I'm not saying that everyone should now become a church singer.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is find your destined, unique purpose and follow that, because you get tired trying to run someone else's race and trying to follow other people's opinions. But yeah. In the short form, that is me.
Like, I don't have any more questions. I'm just here. I'm just engrossed in the story because it's honestly, like I said before you even told me that, and I learned so much more about you. Like, I've been inspired by the things that I've seen of your journey, and now even just knowing more, I'm just like, I can't complain anymore.
Yeah, you've been through it and you came out good. Great.
Yeah, I some of the things you went through. That's why sometimes I even though I hate my problems, I thank God for my problems, because I'm like, I don't want to deal with anybody else's because they're not for me. Yeah. I don't want to experience them. I don't want to deal with them. I was not made to deal with them. Yeah. But it's like, honestly, kudos to you. I'm so like impressed by you and inspired. Like, I'll tell you later, but like some stuff happened with audio stuff that just it's been a week. It's been a month actually, but like after hearing that, I'm encouraged and inspired, and like I hope you're encouraged and you're inspired by your own journey, because you should be. It's a great one. But I mean, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
All of that.
Thank you for listening. You know,
happy to, more than happy to. Somebody needs to write a book. We need to do like a little like little TV series about this, because honestly, it's really impressive. But yeah, thank you, and Now we're gonna play a game.
Whoop!
We're gonna play a game. Okay. So we're gonna play a little game, and it's gonna be song association. But what I've done is I've had Jess write down 5 words that she thinks pertain very closely or describe women in general, because International Women's Month, International Women's Day. And then we have to think of a song. So we have to like sing a song and then say who the song is by and like obviously the name of the song. So she says the song or the word, then we have to tap. And whoever taps first gets to answer, but we have only 5 seconds to answer. And if you don't answer in 5 seconds, then the other person gets to answer.
Nice. Okay. I've been rehearsing this with the Terrell show, so hopefully.
See, I'm terrible at games, so I can't promise that I'm going to win. And I always this is a disclaimer, so my hopes are not up; they're not high.
What's
so.
your win? Like people always say this.
I'm not good at games. My 7-year-old cousin beats me all the time. I'm not good at games, like at all. Okay, Jesse, ready? Okay.
Okay, so the first word is strong. Center.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Does that count? Because it's strong.
Yeah.
Kelly Clarkson. Oh.
See, my mind went blank. This is what I'm talking about. Like,
It's just
yeah. Okay. Next word.
We'll see.
Okay, the second word is eyes.
Keep my eyes wide open. That's Sabrina Carpenter.
Guys.
You have to kind of give her a chance or something, bro.
You need to tap. I can't control the tap, okay?
You know what?
Tap.
I do.
Okay.
The third word is wise.
You gotta be cool. You gotta be.
What?
Does it not have a wiser in it? No, it doesn't. Gotta be cool. You gotta be wiser. It doesn't. All I know, love save the day. You guys don't know that song?
It sounds familiar.
It sounds familiar, but I'm like thinking of like 3 different songs and it sounds like.
I don't know.
Who's it by?
I don't know. It sounds like I
Oh.
think it's by Desiree actually.
Yeah.
Love will save the day. Yeah, I think that's.
Okay, so
Okay,
then
we shall fact check this.
we'll fact check this later, but okay.
Okay. The fourth word is hips.
My fingertips!
Yeah. That was the song, of course, like that's what I was gonna go for.
And then the last word is dress.
I didn't even have one.
Who did that? I didn't even.
Get your freaking dress on!
That's a good joke.
I'm sorry, Apostle.
Okay, I actually enjoyed that. I don't like games very much, but I'm actually
You
enjoying
don't really well though. Yes, she did.
that.
She's going to second guess. She did. Thank you.
I'm very happy with the results because I usually don't do well at games at all. Like I always tell people, I'm like, I have no intention of winning if I'm on your team. I'm sorry, we're probably not going to win.
Just apologize.
I apologize. Like, if I'm on your team, I'm sorry, we're probably not going to win. Don't do well at games. I'm apologizing now. Please don't hate me.
So you don't say well. I guess your blood like running.
Was that the last?
Yeah, that was the 5. Wait, so you got the first 2, yeah?
Yeah.
And then you got the last 3.
Last 3.
Yeah.
Last 3. Even I'm questioning that. What?
Oh yeah, wiser.
Yeah.
Dress and.
See what I said? Can you see what I said? Even though I did well, you know what? I'm proud of myself. I did well. I got some.
I'm proud of you, girl.
It's fine. Clap for me. Thank you. Thank you very much. But yeah, Esther, thank you so much for being on this episode. Like I said, I didn't have to ask you very many questions. Like I loved your story so much. These are the kinds of stories that like inspire people to push through the difficult moments. It inspires me keep trying every day, because like Harvey Specter said, I give up every day, I just don't say it out loud because it's hard. It really, really, really is hard. And there's strength in numbers and there's also comfort in struggle.
Yeah.
So when you figure out you're not the only person that's had it tough, that's had it hard, that's had to face challenges, it's really inspiring. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. Honestly, so beautiful, so enjoyable, so comfortable. It does really feel like I'm in my bedroom. I'm a bit overdressed for the bedroom.
Fine. Fine. We can get all dressed up.
Yeah.
Have a little cocktail glass and sing things. But yeah, before we end this episode, I'm going to give you guys my inspirational quote for the episode. But this quote is by singer-songwriter and actress known as the Queen of Rock and Roll, Tina Turner. And it says, "My legacy is that I stayed on course from the beginning till the end because I believed in something inside of me." Happy International Women's Day and International Women's Month. All of you beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ladies out there, got this. Don't give up. Yeah, and thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of In My Bedroom. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, you can listen to more of In My Bedroom on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Thank you guys for listening and watching. Bye.
So crazy. It is what it is. Messed it up, you did. Now I'm going hard, trying to find